Hello, it's Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Welcome back to the channel. I'm in beautiful Thailand. This is the Gulf of Siam. 250 years ago, the US declared independence, heralding to the world their rejection of a king and colonization in favor of self determination as a democratic republic. 13 years later, in 1789, the US's supreme law or constitution was enacted to preserve the rights Americans died for and to embed the concept of a responsible democracy. Now, you might ask why I, as a non American, should have the right to comment on their constitution. Almost everyone on this planet is affected by what the US does or doesn't do, so I believe we have the right to appeal to Americans to do the right thing. Today, despite 27 amendments to the Constitution, observers might question whether it is fit for purpose. Trump is acting like a king that the Constitution sought to prohibit. The so-called separation of powers is fake, given that Supreme Court judges aren't chosen on merit, but are nominated by politicians for a ridiculous lifetime position. Their politicised decision means that presidents are now above the law while in office. If Congress is controlled by one party, there is no effective oversight. You want examples? How has the Congress helped to cover up the Epstein scandal for decades, not just during the current Trump administration? Both left and right are to blame, so something needs to change. If Congress is the only body able to constitutionally declare war and impose tariffs, how does Trump attack countries and wage economic war without authorization? Why has the cabinet failed to impose the 25th Amendment to remove Trump when he's illegally attacked states like Venezuela and Iran, is a convicted criminal, is alleged to be a pedo and much, much worse according to the Epstein files, and his mental acuity is arguably in decline? In my view, the US is not a proper democracy. And you don't need to believe me, check the democracy ratings. The US ranks poorly. Note the outdated and undemocratic electoral college process that gives folk in a few US states effectively more than one vote per person compared to other states. Politicians can engage in corrupt gerrymandering of electoral boundaries, accept bribes in the form of electoral money for influence, and of course, allow a foreign entity such as Israel to control the US with treasonous acts. 2.5 centuries ago, the US stood as a beacon of hope for oppressed people. Now it has become the most bellicose country in history, attacking those it deems necessary to subjugate. Its mostly Zionist-controlled corporations seek to enslave us all. Data collection that controls how we think and act, and it shamefully supports the Zionist genocide while squawking about human rights abuses by other states. The American people have been shocked by the horrific revelations of a worldwide cabal of its predator class. The satanic child abusers that have blackmailed, raped, and cannibalized their victims. There's no greater example of America's decline than this evil, which shouldn't be described as just a Zionist pedo ring, as bad as that is. It's literally Sodom and Gomorrah, which I'll describe more in depth in my next vlog. These followers of the Canaanite god of child sacrifice Baal are merely the worst example of the depravity that exists in the US today. So much so that many are talking about another revolution, this time with the gallows. Today, many see the US through a lens of darkness, betrayal like the Kurds just found out, or fear and disgust as we do with the genocide of Palestinians and an imminent illegal attack on our neighbour Iran again. Perhaps the 28th Amendment of the Constitution will finally end the greed, corruption and impunity of those in power. Ordinary Americans can regain control of their country and as a true democracy. And the rest of us can once again look at the US in a positive light. Thanks for listening. This is Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Please like, share and subscribe.